look at it right now. Unless you're busy, I got one more to do before that one.
Yeah, just load it and I'll meet you out there.
Okay.
You'll see
What's up, guys? You're watching Bobsdecline. It's Tuesday morning after a long weekend, 8:30 a.m. I just had a call come through. It says pole fell on the road. RCMP are en route, as well as the fire department. I'm not quite sure what's going on there yet. We're gonna head that way right now. Let's see what we got.
So I believe there's a switch up here. This is just down a single phase, and the suspected pull down should be beyond that. So sometimes I'll open the switch as they go by. I'm not sure what we're going to do here. We're certainly going to check it as we go by. So we got a 3-phase down to single phase, cut out up on that pole, and it's still in the closed position. Okay, so if it's a primary pull down, we'll turn around that open as soon as possible.
So I stopped the camera from rolling once we arrived on scene. The biggest reason is just etiquette. You don't want to be arriving to an emergency scene with firefighters and police walking around with the camera filming stuff. It's considered disrespectful. There are times when it's appropriate. When you first arrive on scene, certainly isn't an appropriate time. So you saw what we arrived to. As I was pulling in, the fire trucks, police had the road blocked off, and there was lines down across the road. Not quite sure if you could see it or not, but on the far left side of the screen there was a pole that was broken. So both poles on either side, fairly new poles. Look like they're only a couple years old. I'm assuming a transport truck or something. High load went by and hooked the wires somehow. So there's no damage to the triplex, and this is all I could find. It's a brand new communication drop. Looks like that's where it got hit. Biggest, most important thing when responding to these is scene survey. So as we were approaching, as we were driving up this road, the first step in our scene survey was taking a look at that cutout. We saw that the primary line was still energized. So when we arrive on site, if we see a primary pull down or wires down, we would first communicate with the first responders to keep the area clear, which is what they're trained to do until our arrival anyways. I'd basically let them know that's still alive, keep everyone 50 meters back at least, and I'll go back and dump the line. So in this case, it was triplex down, blocking the road. Not quite as urgent. Still, the guys kept everyone clear of the lines. And my first step was opening the transformer. So I jumped out of the truck, grabbed the extendo stick. I opened up that transformer and cleared the triplex and the telephone from the road. Okay, so that cutout was closed in upon our arrival. So this triplex is open now. There's a communication line. So when we cleared this triplex off the road, all right, so that was foreman. I got a pole crew coming up, set the pole. Looks like I'll be doing all the work myself today. I wanted to show you guys the triplex when I took it off the pole, something that'll make your life a whole lot easier if you ever get in this situation where it wasn't a huge rush to get that wire cut. We were able to remove it right at the dead end shoe. We left lots of wire to hook that back up. So once we get that pole replaced, it's just going to be a matter of sagging that wire back up and making those 3 connections. We're not going to have to splice the triplex. Unless, of course, there was damage mid-span where the truck hit, but I don't see anything there. So that's all clear. Boys are packed up. They're headed out. This one's unfortunate for the customer. It did rip the mast off his building, so he'll have to get an electrician to repair that. We'll put in a new pole, we'll string the wires, get all that stuff all ready to go. But we'll have to wait till the customer gets an electrician makes repairs to their stuff before we can power back up to his farm here. This is the wire that was coming from the pole. So this is the feed, this is our stuff. Going into the mast and into the meter. Once it goes into the building, goes through his panel, it comes back out that LB. Back up. Now this is the customer's own wire here, which feeds the house. It's not a typical setup. So I'm going to leave that mast right on that wire, just so it doesn't pull them lugs apart. In fact, I'll get a screwdriver and pop that meter off. We'll see if there's any damage inside there. So sometimes when those pipes break off, as it bends this way, it'll tweak the inside and break those lugs. Hopefully those lugs are still in okay shape. Oh, bees in there. You gotta look real close at those blocks, the gray insulator blocks. And that wire gets tweaked like that, it'll sometimes split those and you won't even be able to real tell. You'll see a hairline crack, but everything in there looks good. All right, so it's just going to be a matter of fixing up that pipe, putting a new clevis in there. My next step is going to be calling for locates. Pretty sure there's nothing in the ground here, but pretty sure isn't good enough. We have to be 100% sure. Part of our procedure when digging is to call the dig line. That checks with the local community, gas communication companies to make sure there's no buried gas lines or cables, water or sewage in the area. Customer's got everything moved out of the way. They even got the old pole gone, so we'll yank that out. Locates already came back all clear. So now things all set. Transformer across the road is open. We've got our work site cleared. Electrician's on the way to fix the building, and we've got a crew heading this way to set the pole. Once they get here, they won't be long doing that at all, and it's only triplex. I'm not going to bother stringing that telephone back up. It's damaged anyway, so I'll cut that clear, and we'll get the triplex run up across. Hopefully the electrician the customer hired doesn't take too long. Pretty straightforward. Screwed up my morning a bit. It's 10 a.m. right now, so crew will be here by 11. Probably take them hopefully less than an hour to get that pole in the ground. I'll get that triplex sag back up, and then we'll be out of here. We'll try and catch up on the rest of the day's work orders. Just real quick, while we're waiting for the guys to show up, something I wanted to put out there on the channel. We're looking for a pair of gloves that are waterproof. Something, right now, this is what I'm using today. They've got a lot of dexterity. They're a pretty good glove. They fit tight around the fingers. We want something that's waterproof. Right now, we've got these blue rubber glove looking things, and they're all right. Once your hands get wet, they're some hard to put on and take off. But I'm wondering what you guys use out there for a glove that's waterproof. We still haven't found something that the guys really like. So if anyone has any suggestions for a waterproof Lineman glove, please let me know in the comments. Shoot me a link or an instant message on Facebook or Instagram. Let me know what you got. Ended up being not too bad of a call. We had things all wrapped up, pole in the ground, and the customer energized again within about two and a half hours. So things worked out pretty good. When I was filming, when I set the phone down, when I went up in the air to seg the triplex back up, you couldn't really see a whole lot, but at the same time, there wasn't really a whole lot to see. One thing I did want to point out, which is important when sagging wire up in a pole that doesn't have a guy wire holding the pole up, you don't want to grab that wire. Let's say on the street side, we had flaggers stopping the traffic. We don't want to grab that wire and sag it right up, because that's just going to pull that pole right over. So what we did was we grabbed the shorter side, we got it up on the set of come-alongs. That'll help hold the pole up in place, and you kind of work back and forth as you sag things up tight. Now, the wire didn't quite reach when I went to crimp it because I set a pole that was 5 feet higher. So the wire was crossing the road there. Transport hit the communication lines. Not sure what happened before that. We're not sure if they were too low or if the truck was too high or what the situation was. All I know is transport caught the telephone line. That snapped the pole. Truck was gone. So we got everything fixed back up. Things worked out really well. The electrician arrived within 20 minutes or so, so he was able to do his work while we were setting our pole. We both finished kind of at the same time, got the line sagged up. Customer's happy. Well, about as happy as he could be given the circumstances. I'm a little bit behind on my day's work, but not a big deal. We'll catch that up. That's a pretty typical day when you're doing trouble calls anyways. It's not too often a day goes by without getting some sort of a trouble call. A lot of times these broken pole calls, I'll respond to it, secure the scene, and we'll have a crew come in to do the work. But this job today was pretty easy once we had the pole setters. Once the pole was in the ground, it didn't take a whole lot of work. Just my little truck and a groundman, that's all it had. And close the transformer back in, and that was it. On to the next one.